Jacob, good to see you again.
It's great to see you.
Yeah,
Always
you
great
too.
to be here.
Yeah.
Great
How's
to
the
hang
show
out.
going?
It's going great. Going great. Yeah, meeting a lot of interesting companies. Always good to catch up with you guys. So
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
a great show.
Awesome. Well, excited to talk about embedded finance a little bit today.
My favorite topic.
That's right. So I guess just for context, we're now partnered with WorkWave at YouLend, field service, vertical software, supporting field service businesses.
That's right. We specialize in pest control, lawn care, landscaping, cleaning, and security companies, and offer them an operating system to run their businesses.
Yeah. And how are you thinking about, I guess your role is pretty specific to Fintech, right?
That's right. Yeah, I run the Fintech department or the Fintech division of WorkWave, and it's a very important business unit for the company, and it's kind of like does a few different things for us. Obviously, it's a helpful business lever for the company, but it's also really powerful solutions that help our customers get a lot of value. And so we're just looking for all sorts of different ways. It kind of started with payments and payment processing, but we're looking for any way that we can add more value to our customers by helping them, manage a funds flow, get access to capital, you name it.
Nice. And so when you think about embedded finance and kind of, I guess, specific to embedded lending for the downstream SMB base, tell me a little bit about having rolled out embedded lending twice now. I know you developed a product with EPOS Now, a previous employer. Give me a little context on how you thought through kind of the, do we build this, do we partner, vendor selection, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so prior to WorkWave, I was at a company called EPOS Now. EPOS Now, really point of sale solutions for restaurants, small retailers, and when I joined EPOS Now, capital was not a totally new concept. EPOS Now even had a capital product in market, but it was just really not doing well. And one of the big issues was kind of offering the product to everybody without discriminating who's it available to and how much can you offer them, and making sure that they're actually going to be able to get access to the capital. And so we were getting a lot of not so happy customers calling and saying, hey, I was excited about this product and now it doesn't seem like I'm qualified for it. Why would you guys kind of do that to me? And so I started looking at the market and just getting more familiar with what my options were. Kind of examining all sides of the spectrum. Can I partner with somebody who can really take this on completely? Is it worth it for us to build this from the ground up, source our own capital, all that kind of thing? And so spent a little bit of time just getting really deep into the capital world, and through that time got introduced to YouLend, and it became clear, look, as a software company, we want to focus on being a software company. We want most of our R&D budget to be going into new features and functionality and things that we can really help our customers, improve the way that their businesses are operating. But there's this really common need for capital, for a crisis, an opportunity, and so the sweet spot for me was all right, I need to have a really high degree of confidence that if I'm making an offer, that offer is going to be successful. I need to have a really quick way for these customers to get access to it that's not burdensome. That onboarding process has got to be super slick. And then our sales team is focused on selling software, so closing these deals, I could use some help with that. And that's really where YouLend check those boxes better than anybody else on the market, and so that's why I work with you guys at EPOS Now. And that was a slam dunk. I mean, such a good program that we were able to stand up. I think we had a attachment rate with an email campaign that looked great, and then we embedded it in the back office and saw it 4x overnight. It was just a fantastic program. So it was, having that experience with YouLend, coming to WorkWave, supports a little bit of a different size customer base, more sophisticated. But it was a no-brainer for me to basically rinse and repeat and bring the same capital offering distributed the same way to WorkWave and to our small business clients as well, and it's been a huge success.
Yeah, I guess as a vertical SaaS operator, having operated across a couple of different industries, whether it's related to capital, payments, et cetera, I guess, have you seen some common threads and kind of the priorities for how you take embedded finance products to market?
Yeah, I think one of the common things is these software companies want to be software companies, want to primarily focus on how do I build new features and functionality that's going to help my customers manage more efficiently, grow faster. risk management is like not what most software companies want to be really, really good at. And so I think like that is just something that is such an obvious thing to outsource. Like, as long as you can, get a decent commercial deal, as long as you can actually be worth your while to be distributing this, like focus on the distribution, focus on, the product integration and embedding it in the right place, and let somebody else take the risk.
Right, makes sense. What are you most excited about kind of coming down the pipe for WorkWave in the Fintech business?
Yeah, we're doing all sorts of things. We're doing, an updated payments product that's really like driven around insights and how can we help our customers achieve their goals. So, the name of the game in the verticals that we serve in field service, subscription businesses, and so how can we help our customers grow from, 40% attachment on subscriptions to 80%, getting them better attached to payments, getting their customers to give them cards on file. That's something that we can use our insights and capabilities to really drive. So that's a big initiative for us. What are you guys seeing? What's exciting on the lending side?
No, I think what comes to mind for me, honestly, talking with you specifically, is just kind of what we see in the States, in the UK, across the world, is just interesting where we go to market sometimes through pretty vertically focused solutions. Obviously, we worked with you in two completely different vertical markets, kind of restaurant, small retail, now field service businesses. I think just the common threads we see just point out that independent of industry, like small business of a given revenue segment, like at a certain level, they have some of the same challenges, right? How do I accept payments? How do I access capital? How do I streamline my business operations such that like I can focus on what I like to do, right? Running my business and providing customer service and kind of have a software company to help me with the rest. And so I think what's been interesting for us to see is working with lots of different vertically focused companies, but then horizontal partners like a FreshBooks, for instance, or lots of the PSPs we work with, is just how consistent that demand is. It may peak in a different season, given, I know with you guys, for instance, I think we see a peak like in kind of the winter months, right? As some of the landscapers see cash flows go down, that sort of thing. But generally what holds true is, these are great businesses with great cash flows, but they need an easy, reliable way to access capital to help them take advantage of growth opportunities.
Yeah. I love how you guys are really like leaning in to that, like, hey, small businesses everywhere, like this is a great source of capital for you. And like, one of the things that I've noticed in looking at going from a point of sale space to a service-based, field worker space is like the revenue mix is different.
Sure.
So like when I was in the point of sale industry, I mean, it was pretty close to 100% card and then some cash. And now in the field services world, where the mix of customers is also like skews a lot more B2B, we see check deposits, we see ACH payments, we see card payments, and so that's like critical inflow revenue. And I think like you guys are really leading the way by making like all types of revenue that a business earns that can actually help you qualify for capital. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think on our product roadmap, or kind of what we've released this year, this universal revenue financing product is probably what I'm most excited about. Just, I think it does a lot of great things, for us, but more importantly, like for our partners and for their merchants they serve, where historically our space has been pretty focused on processor kind of credit card driven revenues as a revenue source to underwrite and ultimately fund businesses against. YouLend,
which kind of takes, which eliminates a lot of like the pure B2B businesses that are taking all ACH and lockbox and that kind of thing.
So I think we see the universal revenue, which is looking at all revenue sources to make a revenue-based financing offer. I think we see two big levers there for our customers and our partners. One of which is it's allowing YouLend to make bigger, more compelling offers to kind of the same businesses we would serve, who maybe 20% of their revenue mix is kind of card related.
That's huge.
If they have 80% non-card, non-processor, like cash, check, bank draft, et cetera, I think it gets them a more meaningful amount of capital, and obviously drives higher conversion, drives better commercial value for our partner. But then obviously the other big lever is it just brings such a big group of kind of previously unserved businesses into the fold.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really exciting for us because it increases the number of businesses we can serve. I think it's exciting for our partners for the same reason. And then ultimately,
these businesses are underserved. They're sort of cut out from the financial loop.
And I think we see that in the form of really high demand, right? Like I think when you look at some of the industries, restaurant and retail, e-commerce come to mind that maybe have more kind of alternative finance options out there. And then you compare that to the more B2B focused small businesses, we see kind of evidenced by the fact that there's a lot of interest there that like, hey, these folks, just because of their revenue mix, not only are locked out of traditional banking channels, but have largely been locked out of kind of the alternative, like embedded financing channels as well. So we're really excited at what we can do with that over the years to come. So, well, Jacob, great to see you as always.
Great to see you, Ted.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, man.
Look forward to it.